Let's now have a look at integration discourse. This integration discourse is based on some kind of contemporary discourses about immigrants in various European countries, especially in European Union. If we have a quick look at it, we have one very important study by Guillem, which is based on various European Union policies regarding immigrants. This study is interesting, and it lets us know that the constructs such as racialization, how racism is justified through various institutional policies, and the elements based on skin color division such as blackness or whiteness, they can be used uh, to provide a kind of framework which can enable us to make some covert or hidden forms of racism apparent and easy to understand for common readers. In this regard, the study examined immigration, multiculturalism, and inequality in the European Union through its various documents. Specifically, looked at European Union institutions as a fundamental site for a reproduction of uh, racial documentation, ideologies when it comes to certain immigrant groups, where it preferred certain groups over others, and this clearly involved a kind of interplay of cultural and economic aspects in these racialization processes. The analysis focused on a kind of critique of various documents available to the researcher, and it was based on three strategies. Number one was discourse-immanent immanent critique, which looked into the internal contradictions and inconsistencies of these documents, in which certain document probably would have quoted a certain idea when it suited to the local people, whereas another document would have talked about another idea which would have suited them in at another place, maybe very close in historical journey. Then we have socio-diagnostic critique, which is looking at the discourses of these documents from a social theory perspective. Maybe more importantly, the theories about social discriminations or similar ideas like exploitations. And then prospective critique, which focuses on looking at the ways based on discourse immanent and socio-diagnostic critique, how can be contributed to the improvement of the prevalent situation, how these racist views or racist manipulation of various European Union policies can be avoided by introducing certain genuinely democratic and humane policies. Needless to say that the sphere of immigration cannot be understood as separate from other areas such as European Union enlargement and its social policy. Historical background leads us to know that this kind of discriminatory views and policies has been a part of Europe in history also, and it is still very much present in contemporary initiative to address human mobility into and within European Union. Different authors have identified that early 70s as a real site when the immigration controls were on their peak in Europe. And this exactly was an era when Europe, some Western Europe countries, which were the main European countries, were going through some serious economic recession. And that's why many people and the governments of then these European Union states formed policies which supported certain groups in Europe. For example, white immigrants, they were allowed continuing access, but the other Europeans were not allowed these accesses that easily. This is what is found in Gillam's study. Economic recession served as an excuse uh, for illiberal measures to stop certain groups from getting access to these somehow more developed countries of the Europe. Immigration controls from this perspective had more to do with as kind of perceived loss, and in other words, it was viewed that an inflow in form of more immigrants would be counterproductive, would hurt national integration or sovereignty, identity, and if there would be more hordes from other communities, the national sovereignty or identity may be under attack. Therefore, we can see the incorporation of a very important word, integration, in various European Union policies these days. And this word integration, where it allows access to other people, have certain explanations which may be exploitative also, because integration is not free and is not equal. It is based on certain responsibilities which are larger in number as compared to the rights which are given to the immigrants, which are very few and are attached with certain conditions, whereas responsibilities are bigger than the local residents. Therefore, this integration in the European Union immigration policy can be an interesting term, and its various explanations can be an interesting site for critical discourse analysis. And this can be conducted from various perspectives. As we can see that it focuses on the consolidation of particular legislative measures, establishing a new hierarchy of preferred and dispreferred immigrants, because integration into local European Union community or communities is not that easy, though the term is apparently very beautiful and positive, but the checks or conditions associated with it can be an interesting site for analysis in the realm of critical discourse analysis.